State calls Pat Lawrence. Proceed. Could you please introduce yourself?
My name is Pat Lawrence.
Mr. Lawrence, what do you do?
Well, currently I'm in between jobs. You see, I'm an actor, and I've been doing auditions around town. You might have seen my recent performance as the lead in Raising in the Sun. I'm just waiting to be discovered, really.
Mr. Lawrence, how do you know the defendant, Danny Dawson?
I was Miss Dawson's server on the night of the accident.
Where were you serving at?
Chuggy's Bar.
Have you ever worked at a bar before?
Yes, I have. I worked at a bar during the summers back when I was in college.
Mr. Lawrence, what time did you get to Chuggy's Bar on the day of the accident?
I got to Chuggy's at 2 p.m. They wanted me to come in early because it was my first day, and they wanted me to train to take drinks from a bar to a table, but I picked it up rather quickly.
Was the defendant there when you got there?
Yes, she was.
What was she doing, Mr. Lawrence?
Why, she was drinking.
Mr. Lawrence, as we talk about the defendant and her drinks today, I just want to keep track of them, all right?
Certainly.
Now, when you got there that afternoon, how many drinks did the defendant have before you started your shift?
Objection, lack of personal knowledge.
Your Honor, the witness has just said that he got to the bar at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. He saw the defendant and he saw her drinking. He can tell us how many drinks she had that day.
May I respond? If this was before this witness's shift, then we have not heard any foundation for why he would have known how many drinks Ms. Dawson had that day.
Sustained. You'll need to lay a foundation.
Mr. Lawrence, what did you see the defendant doing that day?
Oh, while I was training, she was at the bar and I saw her drinking.
Where were you training at?
I was training inside the bar to learn how to take drinks from a bar to a table.
Were you able to see her the entire time?
Yes, I did.
So how many drinks did she have that afternoon before she started her shift?
Betwixt the time I got there and the time I started my shift, she had 6 drinks.
Well, mark down those 6 drinks. How was the defendant acting after she had these 6 drinks?
Wow. She was acting like she'd had 6 drinks. She was stumbling, she was slurring. She even spilled her drink on me on her way to a table. Made me look like a fool, but luckily I had another shirt in my car and I changed right before my shift.
Once you started your shift, was the defendant one of your customers?
Yes, she was.
And what did she order?
Right when she sat down, she ordered a whiskey straight away.
What's that?
That's a whiskey on ice.
I'm going to mark down that whiskey on ice. Now, after she had that, what did she order?
After that, the group ordered some sodas and tea.
At this point, Mr. Lawrence, did you know who the designated driver was going to be?
I did not, so I asked the group because the designated driver would get free sodas and tea for the night. Miss Dawson raised a hand and I started laughing pretty hard because, like I said, she'd already had 7 drinks. But apparently the others she was with didn't think that was very funny because she was the designated driver.
Now, Mr. Lawrence, after the defendant identified herself as the designated driver, how many more alcoholic drinks did she order?
Whew. After that, she had a whiskey, a shot, a tequila sunrise, and then another shot. So she had 4 more drinks.
Write down those 4 more drinks.
All right.
How many does that bring us to, Mr. Lawrence?
11 drinks.
Do you have any idea how strong the drinks were that night?
Yes, they had been poured pretty strong that night.
Objection, lack of foundation as to how this witness would know how strong the drinks were being poured.
Your Honor, the witness would have personal knowledge of this as he was the waiter working at the bar that day.
May I respond to that, Your Honor? This witness was serving the drinks. He was not making the drinks himself, and he was not watching the bartender make the drinks. Only the bartender would be able to tell us how strong those drinks were on that specific night. This witness would not have knowledge of that.
I'm going to sustain the objection. You'll need to lay the foundation.
Motion to strike all offending testimony.
Great.
Mr. Lawrence, do you know how strong the drinks were being poured?
Yes, I do.
How do you know how strong the drinks were being poured?
Well, the owner of the bar had told the bartender to make the drinks extra strong.
Hearsay.
Your Honor, may I respond? As the court knows, a hearsay statement is a statement that asserts a truth. The bartender, the owner of the bar instructing the bartender to make the drinks strong asserts no truth. It's a command. Sort of like a question does not assert a truth, a command does not assert a truth. The truth is whether or not the bartender actually made this drink strong. What he's talking about is the command that was given by the owner of the bar to the bartender. Because there is no truth asserted, it's not hearsay.
May I respond? Opposing counsel is using these statements specifically to show that this witness knows that the drinks were strong. That is the truth of the matter asserted for these statements. This is hearsay and inadmissible.
What we're talking about right now is just the statement made by the owner of the bar. We will not ask any other questions about this, just what the command of the bar owner was. And that's not hearsay because there's no truth asserted by a command, Your Honor.
May I respond? If there is no truth asserted, then this would not prove that this witness knows that the drinks were being made strong. The only way that this would prove that is if it is going for the truth of the matter asserted, which makes it hearsay.
Okay, sustained.
Motion to strike that question in testimony.
Granted.
Mr. Lawrence, I'd like to talk about the drinks that the defendant had closer to when she left.
All right?
You mentioned that she had a tequila sunrise.
Yes, sir, that's right.
What is a tequila sunrise?
Tequila sunrise is orange juice with tequila in it.
And what time did the defendant have that drink?
Tequila sunrise came right after midnight. She said that she just did not want the night to end, and so she ordered the tequila sunrise.
You mentioned she had a shot at the very end of the night.
Yes, sir, that's right.
What time did she have that shot?
The shot was right before she left at around 1:45 that morning.
What was it a shot of?
Of grain alcohol.
Do you know what type of alcohol grain alcohol is?
Yes, grain alcohol is a type of alcohol that has a concentration that is twice as strong as a normal shot of liquor.
Improper opinion. May I be heard? Once again, this witness has not been classified as an expert in alcohol and would not know the contents of specific drinks. This is an improper opinion to say exactly how much alcohol is in grain alcohol.
Your Honor, he's just talking about the strength of a shot. I don't believe that any expertise is necessary. He worked in a bar. He's told us that he worked in a bar in college. He would have the personal knowledge necessary to give his opinion as to what a shot of grain alcohol is.
Overruled.
Your Honor, I ask that a limiting instruction be offered to the jury then that this is not expert testimony. It's just a witness saying what his understanding of grain alcohol is.
Okay.
Mr. Lawrence, as a server at a bar, what is your understanding of how strong grain alcohol is?
Grain alcohol is twice as strong as a normal shot of liquor.
Mr. Lawrence, I have to ask you, after serving the defendant 11 drinks, why did you let her drive home that night?
Well, let me be clear. I didn't let Miss Dawson drive home. I actually asked her not to, but by the time I took the drink shots, the shot glasses from the table back to the bar, I turned around and she was already outside. I tried to go stop her, but she was already gone.
No further questions, Your Honor. At this time, I'd like to preserve this demonstrative as State's Demonstrative A.
I ask that opposing counsel remove the demonstrative, as well as put down the picture of Vanessa Sullivan.
Your Honor, we'd actually like to keep the picture of Vanessa Sullivan up during trial.